Good day, ma'am, and my dear classmates. So we are the group 1 and we are going to report the last pillar of our criminal justice system here in the Philippines, which is the community pillar. So community pillar is placed on the last, but actually it can be in the first or in the beginning and the end of our criminal justice system, because it plays a vital role in crime prevention, cooperation with the law enforcement agency, and etc. In fact, even the law enforcement pillar are having community as their main stakeholder, even in their vision and mission. So, and they really want the active cooperation or participation of the community in the law enforcement policing system here in the Philippines. So, the community could either be in the form of bad or good neighborhood. Bad neighborhood refers to areas or places in which dwelling or housing conditions are dilapidated, unsanitary, and unhealthy. These traits are detrimental to the moral health and safety of the populace. Also, bad neighborhood is usually packed with poor, disintegrated, and unorganized inhabitants. Most inhabitants are experiencing economic difficulties, alcoholism, substance abuse, gambling, and many other problems in life. This connotes that bad behavior is the home of bad elements of society because the environment is very conducive for the commission of crime. So, dito sa bad neighborhood, karaniwan dito natin makikita yung mga poor and andito yung mga hindi maganda na nangyayari, and yung mga kabahayan or yung mga tao dito is like hindi kanais-nais na tingnan. And dahil nga sa hindi maganda yung community na yun, usually dito nangyayari yung mga krimen. Mas maraming nangyayaring krimen dito sa bad neighborhood. And sa good neighborhood naman, so dito natin makikita na maayos yung lugar na yon or yung community na yon, andun yung pagtutulungan or yung unity. And of course, paano nga ba natin, and of course, dito yung konti lang yung makikita nating nangyayaring mga krimen, or maari nga wala ding or wala talaga nangyayaring krimen dito sa good neighborhood, dahil nga paano nga ba naman kung yung mga tao doon is mga disiplinado and may respeto sa isa't isa, or andun yung lahat ng magandang kabutihan na meron sa isang tao. So, yun ang dalawang klase ng neighborhood sa isang community. Okay, so we have here the word community. So, it says here that community is viewed to be an integral part of criminal justice system in the Philippines and has been so recognized in that it is the fifth pillar of the criminal justice system. So we all know that. So the criminal justice community is one of the pillar of our criminal justice system, and we all know that the first pillar is the law enforcement, the second is the prosecution, the third is courts, and the fourth is correction, and the last is the community. The community refers to the civilian populace in municipalities or public in general, and can be used interchangeably with public, citizenry, society, or private sector. So this community is referring to the people or the population in a barangay or in a municipalities or yung mga tao mismo sa mga public for a general description. And it can be used interchangeably, meaning parang kamukha lang niya yung mga salita, yung public, citizenry, society, or yung mga private sector. Okay, so we have here the first question. Why is the community as one of the pillars of the Philippine criminal justice system? Okay, so we have here the first question. Why is the community as one of the pillars of the Philippine criminal justice system? So, bakit ang komunidad ay isa sa mga haligi ng sistema ng hustisya ng kriminal ng Pilipinas? So, it says here that it is considered as the base and most important pillar because without its cooperation and coordination with the four pillars, the ends of the justice will not be served. So yes, kung wala yung kooperasyon ng komunidad sa mga yung apat na pillars ng ating criminal justice system ay mahihirapan tayong makamit ang hustisya or hindi makakamit ang hustisya yung mga naging biktima ng krimen. Okay, so for instance, may krimen na nangyari din and andun ka, nakita mo yung buong pangyayari. So here comes our law enforcement and kailangan nila ng yung mga informations about sa nangyari. And of course, kung ikaw, kung hindi ka natatakot na magbigay ng pahayag or maging witness sa korte, ay pwede kang tumulong. Pero kung takot ka, ay mahihirapan yung ating biktima na makamit yung hustisya sa nangyari sa kanya. So, ganun. Without yung cooperation ng ating komunidad is hindi natin makakamit ang hustisya. Mahihirapan tayo. And lalong-lalo na mahihirapan yung ating criminal justice system na maibigay yung karampatang hustisya para sa mga naaapi or yung mga biktima. And second, the framer of our laws sees it fitting to include the community as part of the pillars of the criminal justice system because everything starts at the community and end to the community. So yes, kung wala ang komunidad, hindi mabubuo ang ating criminal justice system. And lahat ay nagsisimula sa komunidad and nagtatapos din sa sa komunidad. So, for example, yung ang komunidad ay gumagawa ng mga human laws and they also they are implementing it to the people, and afterwards yung ang ating komunidad din sila din yung nagva-violate sa ginawa ng ating law enforcement or yung ating criminal justice system ng mga laws. So at the end, parang wala din lang silbi ang ating mga batas na ginawa ng ating komunidad or yung mga agencies sa ating komunidad na nagpapatupad ng ating mga batas kung hindi rin tayo nakikioperate or hindi tayo sumusunod sa mga batas na ito, which is talagang nakakabuti naman para sa ating bansa. Okay, next is the laws are established by the community, from the community, for the community. It is the community to enforce the law, to regulate the conduct of the community. The community of man is regulated out of the consensus of the community itself. It in rational, it is a pillar by itself. So, in other words, the laws were established by the community, or the laws were created or established by the community because of the community itself, and it was implemented for the betterment or for the goodness of our community. Okay, so that's the one of the reason why community is one of the pillar of our criminal justice system. And lastly, the community pillar include the mobilized members of the community, such as barangays, government agencies, legislative bodies, academe, religious and civic organizations, and others, to which their collective efforts are contributory for the deterrence of criminality and criminal behavior geared towards the common good of a civilized and democratic society. So, these are some of the members of the community pillar. One of these is our barangays, our some of the government agencies, wherein madidiscuss po yan mamaya as we proceed to our reporting. And we have the legislative bodies, yung our academe, and others that may have that will contribute to lessen the criminality here in our community or here in our country. However, it is commonly understood that the organized civil society and community members perform both roles. So these roles of the community in the administration of criminal justice is community as duty holders and as claim holders. So what does it mean when we say community as duty holders? So they have the responsibility to assist law enforcement and the courts in solving crimes. So it says here that we have also the role or the responsibility to help in the all our law enforcement and the laws implemented by our law enforcement and our courts, just to solve the crime. So to solve this crime, we can do it by providing information, by community participation in crime prevention, and creating culture of peace and supporting the mobilization of resources for peace and order. Okay, so that is the community as duty holders. And next is community as claim holders. So they are the beneficiaries of the justice system, and they play critical roles in holding system duty holder accountable. So when we say beneficiaries, tayo yung nakikinabang sa kung ano man yung ipinapatupad ng ating criminal justice system. And also, yung community din, we also have the roles in performing the community as duty holders. Okay, so those are some reasons why the community is one of the pillars of our criminal justice system. And I also discussed some of the roles of the member community. And for our next topic, we are going to dig deeper on the roles of the community in our criminal justice system to be reported by one of our uh, group mates.
The twofold rules of the community as a pillar of CJS. Number one, to participate in law enforcement activities. The citizen can be achieved this rule by identifying offender, giving data about the illegal activities and cohorts of the criminal, the proliferation of organized crimes and syndicate, volunteering as a witness, and adopting precautionary and remedial measure to damage crimes. As a member of a community where we have the rule na tumulong sa pagtaguyod ng peace and order sa ating bansa at sa pamamagitan ng pagbibigay ng mga impormasyon tungkol sa mga illegal na aktibidad na nangyari sa ating paligid at sa pag-volunteer as a witness. For example, pag may crime na nangyari gaya ng pagpatay or pagnanakaw, as a member of community, makipagtulungan sa mga law enforcers. Yan. Number two, to participate in promotion of peace and order. The member of the community must extend existence to crime prevention activities. Peace and Order Council were reactivated to ensure more comprehensive and effective coordination of the government effects and the activity participation of the citizenry are relative to the national campaign against criminal and insurgency. Number two, to participate in promotion of peace and order. The member of the community must extend existence to crime prevention activities. Peace and Order Council were reactivated to ensure more comprehensive and effective coordination of the government effects and the activity participation of the citizenry are relative to the national campaign against criminal and insurgency. Number two, sa paano ba tayo makakatulong sa pagtaguyod ng peace and order sa ating community? Kailangan natin ng mga ng na ang miyembro ng community ay tumulong sa pagpigil sa krimen sa tulong ng mga batas ng criminal justice system. Rehabilitation take place when he convict serving his sentence. Convict may be paroled or may be placed or on a probation. Ito ay pag yung criminal ay pinibigyan sila ng kakataon para itama ang mga kasalanan nila. Pinapalaya sila kahit hindi pa tapos yung sentensya nila, pero under probation pa rin sila. Kung magpapakabait sila, may chance silang palayain. Under the concept of participative criminal justice system in the Philippines, public and private agencies as well as the citizen become a member of CJS when they participate in and become active with crime prevention issues and activities. Thus, citizen-based crime prevention groups become part of the CJS through their involvement in crime prevention activities and the rehabilitation of convicts who are released from the correctional pillar into society.
What are the sectors of the community that must be concerned with the administration of criminal justice system? So we have here four uh, sectors that concern criminal justice system. The first one is the family home, school, church, mass media, and non-government organization. So we have the first one, the family and home. Refers to the basic social group united through bonds of kinship or marriage presented in all societies. So, social group, ito yung uh, nagkakaisa. Nagkakaisa sila sa pamamagitan ng mm, uh, kinship, pagkakamag-anak or marriage. And we have here 7 fourfold responsibilities. The first one is the child is loved and wanted and knows it. So, kailangan yung bata is minamahal natin to, tas dapat alam nila. And he is helped to grow up by not having too much or too little done for him. So, dapat tinutulungan siya na lumaki by not having too much or too little done for him. Yung hindi paggawa ng sobra or ito yung masyadong maliit or masyadong kulang para sa kanya. He is a part of the family and he has the fun with the family to which he belongs. So, parte siya ng family and masaya siya na ito yung family niya and ito yung kinabibilangan niya. His early mistakes are understood as a normal part of growing up and he is corrected without being hurt, shame, or confused. So, di ba kapag yung bata is kapag gumagawa sila ng kung anong bagay is ang pakiramdam nila is tama, pero tayong mga matatanda na may edad na is alam natin na mali yun. Kaya ang gagawin natin is i-correct natin sila without being hurting, yung hindi sila nasasaktan, tas hindi sila nahihiya or nalilito. His growing skills, walking, talking, reading, making things are enjoyed and respected. So, dapat sa yung growing skills niya, yung lumalaki, yung lumalago na skills niya, yung lalakad, pagsasalita, pagpabasa, tapos yung mga kung ano-ano pang bagay na magagawa niya is dapat is i-enjoy na yun and respect. Parang i-respect din natin. The family sticks together and the members help one another. So, ang dapat yung family is nagkakaisa ito and mapa ups and down man, kahit anumang problema yung darating is nagtutulungan lahat. Nagtutulungan. He is moderately and consistently disciplined from infancy. Limits are set for his behavior and he is helped to take increasing responsibility for his own condition. So, dapat simula sa pagka bata hanggang sa paglaki is kailangan andun pa rin yung discipline. Dapat disiplinado pa rin. And yung limitasyon niya sa kanyang pag-uugali. And dapat tinutulungan niya rin yung kanyang sarili upang ah, para sa pagtaas, kumbaga yung responsibilidad niya sa sarili niya is ah, parang kumbaga ang tawag doon, parang nagle-level up ganon, nagle-level up yung responsibilidad niya sa kanyang sarili, kaya kailangan na tulungan niya rin yung kanyang sarili. We have here the second one, the school. The second integral stage of the behavioral social development process is the school. It is said that the school is an extension of the home, having the strategic position to control crime and delinquency. So, 'di ba sinasabi natin na ah, ang school ito yung pangalawang bahay natin kung saan tayo natututo, kung saan tayo natututo magsulat, mag-aral, magbasa, and dito rin tayo nakakita ng mga kaibigan natin. And yung mga teachers natin, ito considered sila na as second parents natin. And this is an extension of home, having the strategic position na nagko-control ng crime and delinquency. As I said, the teachers are considered as our second parents, and having the responsibility to mold the child to become productive members of the community by devoting energies to study the child's behavior using all available scientific means in an attempt to provide each the kind and amount of education they need. And the last one is the non-government organization. Non-government organization are private organizations that are civic oriented and thus promote peaceful and productive society. So, ang non-government organization, sila yung may kaya na pigilan ang kriminalidad, sila yung nagpapanatili ng kapayapaan at kaayusan para sa society natin. These are groups of concerned individuals that are responsible for helping the government to pursue community development.
Church. The church is the institution that provides a place for public worship and the services needed to enhance the spiritual and moral character of an individual. The church influences people's behavior with the emphasis on the moral and life's highest spiritual values, the worth and dignity of the individual, and respect for people's lives and properties. The church generates a strong will of the people to oppose crime and delinquency. The mass media. Mass media is the best institution for information dissemination, thereby giving an opportunity to the public to know the necessary facts of life that helps them shape their daily views about crime and its control. Agencies in partnership with the community for effective justice system. Number one is, or letter A, is National Police Commission. It's one of the formal policy-making body of the Philippine government geared towards the prevention of crime, abuse of power, and corruption over criminals, wherein the key officials of each component of the criminal justice system and non-governmental organization leaders are represented. This body discusses the weaknesses and strength of the criminal justice system on a monthly basis to effect speedy and efficient administration of justice. Ang komisyon ng Pambansang Pulisya ay isa sa mga formal na katawan sa paggawan ng patakaran ng gobyerno ng Pilipinas na nakatuon sa pag-iwas sa krimen, pang-abuso sa kapangyarihan at katiwalian ng mga kriminal, kung saan ang mga pangunahing opisyal ng bawat bahagi ng sistema ng hustisyang kriminal at mga pinuno ng non-government organization ay kinakatawan. Tinatalakay ng katawan na ito ang mga kahinaan at lakas ng sistema ng hustisyang pangkriminal sa buwanang batayan upang may patupad ang mabilis at mahusay na pangangasiwa ng hustisya. Letter B is Peace and Order Council and its composition. Under EO number 366, the Peace and Order Council are organized from the national to the barangay level with an objective of promoting crime prevention and suppression. Ang Peace and Order Council o composition nito sa ilalim ng number 366, ang Peace and Order Council ay inorganisa mula pambansa hanggang sa antas ng barangay na may layunong isulong ang pag-iwas at pagsugpo ng krimen. Sa pamamagitan nito, pinag-utos nito ang empowerment lalo na ang barangay level na siyang direktang nakikipag-ugnayan sa mga tao mula sa lahat ng antas ng pamumuhay. Ang barangay POC ay nagsisibilang pundasyon ng organisasyon dahil sa tagapagpakain ng lahat ng impormasyon sa mga mataas na hierarchy ng organisasyon. Sila pa nga ang pangunahing tagapagpatupad ng mga programa ng pambansang pamahalaan. Special Action Committee. In case of emergencies or critical situation, this committee, which composed of the series of head of different government agencies that working with each other for immediate response to the emergency or crisis. Ang espesyal na komite ng aksyon sa kaso ng emerhensya at kritikal na sitwasyon, ang komiteng ito ay binubuo ng mga serye ng mga pinuno ng iba't ibang ahensya ng gobyerno na nakikipag-network sa iba nito para sa agarang pagtugon ng emergency or crisis. Ang komposisyon ng SAC ay kinabibilangan ng mga kalihim ng Department of Interior and Local Government, Department of National Defense, Department of Social Welfare and Development, Department of Justice, Armed Forces of the Philippines, Chief of the Staff, Chief ng Philippine National Police at ang mga kinatuan mula sa pribadong sektor. Ang kanilang gawain ay magkaroon ng agarang koordinasyon kung sakaling magkaroon ng krisis sa isang naibigay na jurisdiction para sa isang mabilis na aksyon. Regional Peace and Order Council. The second level of the Peace and Order Council, which is tasked to consolidate reports from the provincial level and implement actions on a region-wide scale. It tends to mobilize regional offices of integrated government agencies in response to crisis. It also develops plans based on the consolidated reports which require action from the regional level. Ang Regional Peace and Order Council, ang pangalawang antas ng Peace and Order Council na may tungkuling pagsasamahin ang mga ulat mula sa antas ng probinsya at pagpatupad ng aksyon sa malawak na saklaw ng rehiyon. May posibilidad itong pakilusin ang mga panrehiyong tanggapan na pinagsama-samang ahensya ng gobyerno bilang tugon sa mga krisis. Bumubuo din ito ng mga plano batay sa pinagsama-samang mga ulat na nangangailangan ng aksyon mula sa antas ng rehiyon. Provincial Peace and Order Council. This is headed by the governors of different provinces in the country. Their task is to monitor and implement peace and order programs in coordination with the provincial police office, the municipal mayor, and other allied government units who are involved in the Disaster Risk Reduction Management Council. Ang Provincial Peace and Order Council, ito ay pinamumunuan ng gobernador ng iba't ibang lalawigan sa bansa. Ang kanilang tungkulin ay subaybayan at ipatupad ang mga programang pangkapayapaan at kaayusan sa pakipag-ugnayan sa mga provincial police office, mga alkalde ng munisipyo at lahat ng iba pang kaalyadong unit ng pamahalaan na kasangkot sa Disaster Risk Reduction Management Council. City Municipal Peace and Order Council, headed by the local executives with the support of other allied government agencies in the city municipal level. Ang Konseho ng Kapayapaan at Kaayusan ng Lungsod o munisipyo ay pinamumunuan ng mga lokal na ehekutibo na ang suporta ng ibang kaalyadong ahensya ng gobyerno sa antas ng lungsod o munisipyo. Barangay Peace and Order Council, especially created within the barangay for quick response to emergencies with the barangay level. Ang Barangay Peace and Order Council ay espesyal na nilikha sa loob ng barangay para sa mabilis na pagtugon sa mga emergency sa loob ng barangay.
Number 2, non-government organization. Private organization ranging from business to a simple barangay organization are potential linkage for community expansion of its arm to become vigilant in the preservation of the community's security. Foundation as well as association are all organized with an aim in view of supporting its member and the community as a whole for the promotion of their general welfare. These non-governmental organization and association involve themselves in various activities ranging from education, religious, business to other service-oriented program which responds anytime of needs of the community. As a great example was the tragedy of Typhoon Yolanda, which devastation effect is so great beyond human comprehension. We can see that the first to respond to the needs of the victims are almost non-government organizations from the different sectors and even foreigners. This not only may manifest that community empowerment is what we actually need to sustain and pursue the objects of the justice system. Number 3, people's organization. People's organization are considered as the grassroots of peace and order in sense that the people themselves unite together, plan and execute such as plan for the betterment of the majority. The likes of cooperatives where membership is voluntary and the main aim is self-sufficiency and assistance. Other professional and non-professional organizations were although non-homogeneous or homogeneous in character, most of these organizations are organized with an end in view of promoting the general welfare of its member. These are examples of people's empowerment. Number 4, community empowerment. At old adage which states that peace and order is everybody's concern. It's true even at present times. The community as a whole requires to be empowered by virtue of recognition of their contribution for the maintenance of peace and order. Thus the Constitution and its provision provides for the citizen arrest where anybody who witness the crime and a criminal can take such as offender into custody and bring him to the nearest law enforcement office and stand as a witness during the court proceedings. Another from of community empowerment is the promulgation of the Witness Protection Act, which aims to provide protection of the state witness to a high-profile crimes. This protection is not only limited to a witness himself or herself, but including his family members when an imminent threat to their life brought about by being a witness.
Number 5, the rights of the community members. And the following are human rights provided under the Universal Declaration of the Human Rights. We have here the first one, the right to life. So, in Article 2, it says there that everyone's right to life shall be protected by the law. So, kailangan yung mga rights nating mga tao is kailangan na protektado sa law. And this right is one of the most important of the convention, since without the right to life, it is impossible to enjoy the other rights. No one shall be commended to death penalty or executed. The second one, the right to liberty and freedom of movement. So, along with the right to life, the right to liberty is one of the most fundamental human rights. The right to liberty is the right of all persons to freedom. And the rights to freedom of movement, it includes the right to move freely. Ito yung free ka na pupunta sa ibang lugar, ganun, bansa. And within a country for those who are lawfully within the country. Ito yung ang karapatang pwede silang umalis sa alinlang bansa. Yung karapatan papasok sa ibang bansa, ganun. And kung saan ikaw ay isang mamamayan dito. And letter C, the right to equality before the law. So, the right to recognize as a person before the law is the essence of this right is equality of legal capacity. For example, the capacity to enter into contracts or access government services, yung kakayahang pumasok sa mga kontrata or serbisyo pang gobyerno. Letter D, the right to presumption of innocence until proven guilty. So, accused must be presumed innocent until his guilt is established by proof beyond reasonable doubt. So, kailangan na ang ebidensya ay makatotohanan at bago ito hatulan, kailangan mo ng timbangin ng husgado, ganun yung mga ebidensya and to establish by proof beyond reasonable doubt bago siya hatulan. The right, and letter F, the right to appeal conviction. I mean letter E, the right to appeal a conviction. So it gives in every accused the right to appeal from a judgment conviction. Nagbibigay ito ng bawat akusado ng karapatan mag-apela mula sa hatol ng judge. Letter F, the right to be recognized as a person before the law. In Article 6, the right to recognize as a person before the law, everyone has the right to recognition everywhere as a person, because the law, regardless of whether they are citizens or migrants, students or tourist workers or refugees or any other group. Letter G, the right to privacy and protection of the privacy by law. So, the right of privacy has two main aspects. The first one is the general law of privacy, which which affords a tort action for damages resulting from unlawful invasion of privacy. So ito yung sila yung nag-a-action dun sa mga damages resulting from an unlawful invasion of privacy. And the second one is the consultation right of privacy, which protects personal privacy against unlawful government innovation. So yung first one is sila yung nag-action sa mga damage ng mga resulting from unlawful invasion, and the second one naman is sila yung nagpro-protect through personal privacy against unlawful government invasion. Letter H. I mean, sorry, it's freedom. Freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. So, everyone has the right to freedom of expression. Although you have freedom of expression, you also have a duty to have responsibly and to respect other people's rights, and also to protect your freedom to receive information from other people by for example being part of an audience or reading a magazine. And letter I, the freedom of opinion and expression. So all persons have the right to think freely, malayo pag-iisip, and to entertain ideas and hold positions based on consensus or religious or other belief, and it includes the right to change your religion or belief at any time. You also have the right to put your thoughts and belief in action. And the last one, the freedom of assembly and association. So, freedom of assembly and association, it is the right to peaceful assembly protects the right of individuals and groups to meet to engage in peaceful protest. So, the right to freedom of associations, it protects the right to form and join association to pursue common goals. 6. The community members' duties and responsibilities, and the following are the responsibilities of the community. The first one, letter A, responsibility to assist those who are in their need. So, kailangan ng isang community is responsibility nila na tulungan or i-assist yung mga tao na nangangailangan ng tulong. And letter B, responsibility to do what is good to others. So, responsibility nila na gawin kung ano ang ikabubuti ng ibang tao, yung magandang gawain. Letter C, responsibility to pay taxes to the state. So, kailangan na magbayad ng buwis. Letter D, responsibility to be a witness on the court of law over crime. So, kailangan na maging witness ka sa isang, kumbaga, example, may hearing, and kailangan maging witness ka dun sa over crime na yun. And letter E, responsibilities to give due respect to the right of others. So, natutunan natin to sa ethics na subject natin na kailangan natin respect the yung mga rights din ng kapwa natin tao. And letter F, responsibility to obey and abide with the law. So, kailangan is kung ano yung batas is kailangan is sumunod tayo. Letter G, responsibility to provide for the needs of the family. So, kailangan nila, responsibility nila na i-provide kung sa isang community member na i-provides yung mga pangangailangan ng isang pamilya. And letter H, responsibility to contribute to the general welfare of the community. Letter I, responsibility to give what is due to others.
Let's go to the other community stakeholders, duties, and responsibilities. So we have 6, the academic, legislative, church, government executive bodies, civic organizations, and the general public. First one is academic. Refrain from too much profit-oriented, instead become service-oriented. Ito ay umiiwas sa labis na kita. Sa halip ay naging service-oriented. Simplify policies and standards to make education accessible. Pinapadali nito yung mga policies and standard para makasabay or ma-access natin yung education. Number 3, integrate realistic moral culture within the academic community. Support scientific potential of student by allowing autonomy on the part of the student to discover and present what they think is right and productive. Do not so over restrictive. Allow policies to be flexible to accommodate varied circumstances of the learning public. Academe are defined as student desire, presence, or wanting for certain academic goals and outcomes. Next is legislative. Legislate worthwhile statutes that are developmental. Avoid nuisance legislations that only end up in the archives. Manifest statesmanship by leading a simple and humble way of living. Don't make Congress as a means and bullfighting ground. Legislate statutes that non-sending children to school is a crime. Legislate statutes that protects the source of livelihood to prevent conversions of farmlands into other usage. Yung legislative is nagsasabatas ng mga batas upang protektahan at maging maayos ang buhay ng mga children and mga tao. Next is church. Walk your talk. The measure of the true faith in the Bible. Refrain from money, profit-centered advocacy, led by example. For those who give favor to the least of his brother, have given it to me, says the Lord. Do not make religion as business. Internalize and put into practice what you are teaching. Have fear within. Number 4 is lead your flock to what is right. Don't use them as your milking cow. Sa church is umiiwas din sa profit, sa kita, and hindi ginagawa ang simbahan upang maging business. Next is government executive bodies. Enough to the culture of loud promises, for to serve with integrity, promoting the welfare of your constituent. Yung magsilbi upang itaguyod ang iyong nasasakupan. Number 3, live with the culture of delicadeza. Delicadeza is the pagpapahalaga sa dangal at pamilya. Wherefore, be the first to abide with the law you are implementing. Next is civic organization. Number 1, to be responsive to the objectives of their organizations. To be supportive of the programs of the government, to serve as links and networks for the promotions of the public service, to serve as models of group organizations worthy of emulation. Number 5, to be responsive in the times of dire need to the community. Next is the general public. Internalize the four-way test of true service and equity by the Rotary Internationals. Number 1, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendship? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? With this, the community as a whole may develop better way of treatment to each other that may redound to a better place existence.
Okay, so that ends our discussion about the last pillar of our criminal justice system, which is the community. So we can conclude that prevention and control of crime is not the sole duty and responsibility of the government. It is also the responsibility of the community. So if you have any clarifications or any questions, you may ask us and we will try our best to clarify and answer your questions. So thank you for watching and listening. Good day ahead.